I think we see Willis coming out.
Knox and cuts left, now fires a three. It is good, and he's fouled!
What's up, guys? Terry here from Terry and Trey Knicks. Trey is in Trinidad catching some sun, so I'm just going to give you my quick thoughts on our first Summer League game. As we're just finishing up now, Dotson's at the line about to take a couple free throws, but we should seal this. We've not been great from the line today, but, you know, hopefully you should knock these two down and we can get the win. But Summer League is not about winning the games, right? It's about development. It's about what we're seeing on the court. Just looking back, Dotson, there you go, you got the first one to go. It's about what we see on the court, and it comes through in terms of how guys are developing, how the team looks together, if we're seeing players be more aggressive, if we're seeing players sharing the ball, doing different things. So I'm going to run through what I saw today, what I thought about certain players, and what we should be excited about, or what we should maybe look for in the next two Summer League games coming up. So Trey Young's in the paint, Mitchell Robinson, another foul. Been calling fouls on Mitchell all game long. But let's start with Kevin Knox. Wow, what a pick. This was the guy. This is draft pick. This is who we needed. Everything about him today was excellent. His shot wasn't falling maybe as much as you'd hope, but they were good shots and you could see his form is good. That's going to fall over time. It's his first Summer League game. Definitely not too worried about Kevin Knox. The athleticism was there. The motor that was a big criticism of him was there. You saw him up and down the court, and what I loved was that he was trying to get to the line with every play. He did not shy away from contact, and he's going to get a lot of guys in foul trouble from day one. You know, Kevin Knox looks to me like someone who, you see Alonzo Trier is getting fouled here. We'll talk about him in a bit. But Kevin Knox looks to me like someone who's going to come into the league and get buckets from day one. I can see him getting into the like 15 to 20 point per game averages this season, which may seem a little bit excessive, but if you look at him on the court and his demeanor about scoring and the way he plays, you could see this guy's going to get buckets, especially on a Knicks team that, you know, we don't have a lot of weapons, but when he's playing around guys like Tim Hardaway Jr. or Trey Burke, players who put a lot of pressure on the defense, he's going to be able to come in there and get some secondary points, coming in late into the paint, getting some dunks. So a great play today where Frank kind of got stuck in the paint and passed it over to Knox, and Knox ran in and dunked it home. So I'm over the moon about Kevin Knox. This is really exactly what we need, especially at the 3 position. So I think we should be pretty happy about that. Moving on, the Trier hits the second free throw up. There's 5 seconds left. Trey Young's going to jack something up. But he's in the paint now. He should have hit a 3. Made a layup. Young had a good game. I don't really like Trey Young, but he actually had a pretty good game when you look at it. But we are going to get the first Summer League win here is Mitchell Robinson. Oh my God, he just put... Jesus Christ.
Over the top, Mitchell Robinson has a nice dunk.
He's put that insane dunk. It was after the whistle, but what a pick. Funny enough, that's exactly what I'm going into right now. Mitchell Robinson, yo, what a draft pick. He's exactly what we need as well. We're so lucky that he fell. We are so lucky that he fell to number 36, especially missing that season from college, kind of dropping out, doing his own training, because this guy is just a bag of potential. Length, skill, athleticism, height. Oh my, he had something like 6 or 7 blocks today. He was everywhere now. He is raw. Don't get me wrong. He has a lot to learn in terms of offense, but let's check out Kevin Knox's interview. We'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. Great interview by Kevin Knox just there. Really well spoken. I think we got a good pick in this guy, like I just said. But Mitchell Robinson, that dunk he threw down at the end had me hyped. It was after the clock, but I think you see that this guy just has so much in his arsenal, and it's kind of crazy to see how he's going to develop, because I think Fizdale's really going to try to get his hands on him and really teach him the game from an offensive awareness standpoint and defensive awareness standpoint. At times he did look a bit lost out there, but the fact that he's performing this well based on nothing but pure athleticism and effort is really exciting as a Knicks fan. And you know, you look at him and KP, Twin Towers down the line, there's really something there, and that's scary for defenses with Mitchell's athleticism and then Kristaps' ability to do everything when it comes to skill, shooting, athleticism, stretching the floor. So we should be really excited about this. I think though what we need to do is make sure that he's as a front office and as a development team between Fizdale and friends, they need to make sure that Mitchell Robinson is progressing bit by bit. He's learning, he's studying, he's becoming a student of the game, because that's the only thing that can keep him back. Because what you're seeing in terms of athleticism is next level right now. Let's move on to someone who I think people probably, and I admit I was as well, and I'm a big fan. I was a bit disappointed in Frank today in some aspects. So he started the game well. He had that great strip on Trae Young. Later on, he had a huge block on Young and just like swatted that shit out of there. But on offense, he still looked timid. He still looked unsure of what to do, and he had some really bad turnovers because he picks up his dribble too early sometimes. Now, what was a little frustrating about it today was that, yes, Frank did do this last year in the league, so it's not like we didn't see this before. But towards the end of the season, he really wasn't doing this as much. He was becoming a lot more aggressive. He had a great game against the Cavs near the end of the year, against real NBA players, against LeBron and Kevin Love, etc. So it was actually pretty disappointing to see him in Summer League now in his second year against guys, a lot of guys who may not even be in the NBA next year. And he was still being pretty timid with how he initiated the offense, and it slowed down the offense at times because Frank just seems to really struggle when it comes to putting pressure on the defense from an offensive standpoint. Now on defense, same Frank we've always known. Long, lengthy, hustles, yachts on the floor. He had a jump ball because of his aggressiveness. Hands up, blocking passes, you know, like I said, that great strip on Trae Young. He still has all that stuff in him. He's always going to be a very plus defensive player, but if he's not able to run the offense, we're going to have to move him off ball. Because we can't just sit around, you know, he can't have him freezing at the logo or right after running for the 2-point line and not knowing what to do next. And it's frustrating because you see him do it sometimes and you see him just use that length. He had a nice play in the fourth quarter where he drove in, did a little spin move on Trae Young, hit a nice little fadeaway kind of floater, got to the line, he missed the free throw, but he was putting, he did hit the jumper, but he missed the and one. But he was putting pressure on the offense, and I think that is something, he's putting pressure on the defense. And that's something that he has to do from an offensive standpoint if he's going to hit that next level. I still think he does have a good brain in terms of looking for passes. He has some good vision. So when he gets into certain positions, you know, he can't find the open man. But the problem is, if people know you're not going to shoot, they're just going to back off you, and then you're going to telegraph your passes. And we saw him make a couple of really bad turnovers like that. I'm not going to go crazy because I know you're going to see a lot of like, oh my God, Frank is still bad from people all across the internet and on Twitter. I will say this, that Frank is a kind of real system kind of guy because he's someone who looks to follow what's the plan to a T and doesn't really try to do his own thing a lot. He doesn't really freelance too often. You'll see him when he's playing with guys on the, you know, in the summer league who aren't really well versed in NBA offenses. They're gonna make him look worse because he's probably looking for someone to be in that position. You know, coming from the European system, which is very drilled about team basketball. Frank's going to take a while to kind of get out of this mindset and kind of free up. I hope that what we see, especially maybe after Summer League, you'll see him with Chris Brickley and in the kind of open run games that he has where he's training with real NBA stars and NBA players and they're just playing freelance offense, 5-on-5 up and down the court. I want to see him play in that game and I want to see people push him to be aggressive because when it comes to just thinking on his own on offense, he really freezes up sometimes. And I think it's not necessarily that he's not capable of doing it, it's just that I feel like he still lacks confidence on the offensive end to really take it on and do what needs to be done to lead the team. And you can see him out there visibly frustrated with himself, which is why I'm never really angry with Frank, just because I know he's a hard worker who wants to get there. This is not a guy who doesn't care about getting better and isn't training every day. But that click is going to have to happen. And what I will say is that Fizdale's the perfect coach for it. David Fizdale knows this. He's spoken about it, and he's exactly the kind of guy who's going to show Frank on camera, hey man, you know, when they look at film, right here, you need to pass that ball. Right here, you're in the lane, you're putting pressure on the defense, but then you're freezing up and giving the ball away. So I'm not scared. It's the first Summer League game. Let's see how it goes on. But I saw him at the end of the last season doing a lot of the things that he didn't do today. So let's see what he does in the next game. I still have faith in Frank. Moving on, let's get into Alonzo Trier, polarizing guy. He clearly is talented offensively, but this guy feels like J.R. Smith. He is out there and he's just trying to get buckets. He's not, you know, his Instagram handle is ISOZO, and I think he's letting you know what he wants to do. It was frustrating at times because he's not blatantly looking off open guy, trying to dribble, get into the lane, make all these moves. He's like the exact opposite of Frank, who's too timid. He's like too confident on the offensive end. At times I found that it was really annoying me when he was just kind of going off on his own tangent. Now as the game went on, slowed down a bit, started picking his spots better, so we saw a bit of maturity on that side. He was I know he's 21, I'm not sure if he did 3 or 4 years at Arizona, but he's definitely someone who is offensively talented, can score, and you saw that aggressiveness come out. He was putting pressure on the defense, and he was making things happen out there. Some of those things weren't good, but like I said, as the game went on, he got a bit better. I think he's someone who the Knicks are going to be really frustrated with at times, and other times he's going to be going off, and we're going to love him. Now, he's on a 2-way contract, so you can only spend 45 days with the Knicks, the New York Knicks, until he has to be signed. So you'll see a lot of him in the G League, and he's the kind of guy who might go crazy in the G League, get a bunch of points, and really look good. So we'll see. I think what we saw, though, is Frank's inability to really break down the defense. We saw Trier trying to do it, but Trier doesn't have that passing vision and that, the passing mindset that Frank does. So instead of looking for someone to pass to, he's kind of just dominating the ball. So, we'll see on that end what happens. Moving on, we got two more veteran guys. Damian Dotson, he's sophomore year, but he's 24 at this point. And Troy Williams, I believe, is around the same age. Drafted in 2016, undrafted in 2016, I believe. So both guys, you could clearly see that they were way more experienced than the other guys on the court. Both guys started pretty well, had really strong first, second quarters, but kind of faded as time went on. Troy Williams was out here, though. He was diving for loose balls. He was showing a lot of energy, trying to get to the rim. Took a couple iffy shots. He's not really a great shooter, but really looked like a leader out there. And I'm like what I saw, when he came over last year, towards the end of the season, it was all effort from him. It was just him, getting some putback dunks, doing some crazy stuff on the court. So I think you're going to see more of that this season, just effort, which is what we need. Length, effort, and athleticism. I think he'll do well. Fizdale spoke about Dotson getting that green light. You saw some of it. Dotson didn't really shoot incredibly well, but you did see a bit more aggressiveness. Jeff wasn't really a big fan of Damian last year. Didn't really let him get on the court too often. So I think what we will see with Damian this year is just more of that green light. He looked good at times, but kind of faded a bit more than I was hoping to see as time went on. But really, that was it. We got the win. Like I said, it's good we got the win, but it doesn't really matter. What we should really focus on is Kevin Knox looking like an NBA player. Really giving us some strong Jason Tatum vibes. I can see this guy scoring a lot next season, especially with KP out. He's going to get a chance to really get in there and get some buckets. Good. Man, what a good draft pick. And Mitchell Robinson, like I said, same thing in the sense that we really made a good decision getting him. At number 36, what a godsend. That dunk at the end, I can't get over it. Frank, we want to see some more. Like I said, I'm not going to be as depressed or as go hard on him like I think a lot of people will, because I can see the kind of player Frank is, and he doesn't really thrive in this kind of environment. This is the kind of guy who plays better against NBA players in a more structured system than he would freelancing against G League guys or Summer League guys, because his mindset is just not there yet to just kind of play basketball and dominate and get to the rim and do that kind of stuff. But I know that Fizdale's going to be on him about it. But all in all, positive signs. I think the Knicks should be really excited for next season. I think we're seeing young guys and a young team that we've needed and desired for years now. So that's going to be dope. Like I said, we should be super excited going forward. Next game is tomorrow, actually. Tomorrow at 9 p.m. we're going to be taking on the Jazz. So we get to see Grayson Allen and Frank. I want to see a more aggressive Frank tomorrow. That's my main thing. And more from Knox and more from Mitchell. It's a quick turnaround, so kind of back-to-back in the Summer League. So we get to see how, Knox and Mitchell, they may not play heavy minutes, but we'll at least get to see how they kind of react to playing 2 games in 2 days, which is something they really haven't done so far in their career. So, good to see. Like I said, we should be excited. There's some youth, athleticism, and length on this team. And I still think Frank's going to come around. So let's see how he plays tomorrow. All right, guys, Terry and Trey, we're out. Peace. We'll be back next week with a more kind of full-length show. Looking at the first couple Summer League games. We're going to talk more in depth about what we're seeing, what we're excited about. It's July. We're getting closer and closer to preseason start of the season. Exciting New York Knicks basketball, baby. Let's go. All right. Peace.